Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder aboard the SU-76D, where I play to its full strength and I give my team the greatest support possible. The SU-76D is a Soviet premium rank 2 battle rating 2.3 tank destroyer that is in its overall capabilities and appearance very similar to the SU-57B, where the main difference is the gun. Here it is a 76mm F-34 cannon rather than the long-barreled 57mm CIS-4 cannon. That also explains the battle rating difference. The mobility isn't the greatest, the armor neither, but the gun hits hard. However, the gun handling is then pretty atrocious. Here, as you can see, I'm not really moving that far from the spawn, and finally I am at the position where I want to be, and I'm happily blasting away at this train wagon, and I load the heat, then go to roughly 350 millimeters, which 350 meters of distance, and blast it apart. A quick range finding then confirms that we are indeed looking at 450 meters of distance. Here I am in cover, I am laying in an ambush, and I then have hopefully some juicy side shots at enemies. So here I'm eagerly awaiting the appearance of the first customers to then help my team win the fight. The problem with this map here is that the northern spawn has a little bit of an uphill struggle, an uphill fight, because the enemy just has an easier time making a crossfire, and as you can see with the kill messages, it's not looking good. Let's quickly change that. Beautiful. First customer of the day, the Chiha Kai. Now, let's just talk here a little bit about the details, and also this here. That is a rather unusual scene. A Panzer IV surviving a shot from a Russian gun from the front. That is black magic. And then again, this ricochet, I have no explanation. But you know, as they say, third time's the charm. Second kill. So let's talk a little bit about the details. You can obtain this tank in the ongoing crafting event, Modern Technology I think it's called. And obviously you can then exchange this to the JDS Yugure, basically a premium Japanese lower tiered nerfed Fletcher class. I'm not losing too many words about that ship because Naval Forces is kind of dead, and it might be truly the case that more people are interested in the tank if you haven't acquired 3 of the Minotaur tanks to exchange for the F4F Phantom 2 or the XM8. Anyway, so this tank, how much would I rate it on the marketplace, which it will inevitably hit on, I think, Monday? 5 to 10 Gaijin coins. It is a low tier premium, so its research usability is kind of limited, up to rank 3. The Silverline income is okay-ish, but far from the best. The modifier is 0.9 times 2 instead of 1.4 times 2. And here, when you later then look at the results, please be aware that this is a test drive where the premium times 2 modifier doesn't get applied to your results, which is a shame. And the research modifier is 1.18, or if you have a premium account, it's 354%. So, what about the mobility of this tank? Well, the horsepower to ton ratio is just under 10, 110 horsepower for an 11.6 ton tank. The top speed is 36 kilometers per hour, and in reverse it's 5 kilometers per hour. The tracks are rather narrow, so the traction isn't all that great to begin with. You also have no neutral steering. But you know, it's a low budget tank destroyer, which is also kind of reflected by the armor. It's 25 millimeters of rolled homogeneous armor, and where it is on the rest of the hull angled at just under 50 degrees, it's not really holding against even 20 millimeter SPA rounds. And around the gun breech, it's also only 25 millimeters, but flat. The side is 16 millimeters, and the top of the tank is only 10 millimeters. So you're highly vulnerable versus artillery strikes, air attacks, and even SPA, even if you try to angle, etc., etc. so the protection isn't that great neither. Then the survivability is also pretty bad, as there are 4 crew members and 2 are on each side of the gun breech. But on the side of the hull there is also the ammunition stored, which is quite substantial, with 70 rounds, with up to 71 rounds. Even if you take out half of the ammunition, one side is still literally covered in ammo. And the fighting compartment is rather small as well. So even an AP shell fired centrally can, shrapnel your entire crew to death. And what about the gun? Well, let's first talk about the gun handling, because that is really bad. Only 5 degrees of gun depression, 14 degrees of gun elevation. Then the firing arc is limited as well, with only 13 degrees per side. So overall 26 degrees firing arc. If there is a moving target, you have to literally think ahead where the target might be, and up until the point the tank settles and stops wobbling and you can arrange the gun to the target, it might be all over, either for you or somebody else of your team has gotten the kill. Then there is obviously the turret traverse speed, which is only 7 degrees per second, and the gun elevation speed is 4 degrees per second. Not so great, to be honest. And then let's talk about the gun. That 76mm has a, at best, 6.9 second reload for a fully trained ace crew. That is not really terrible, but I've seen definitely better. Then let's quickly talk about the ammunition, and this is then where it gets interesting, because this tank, or rather the gun, offers up to 8 different shell types: a smoke shell, a shrapnel shell, an HE shell, a heat shell, and then a solid AP, 2 APHE, and even an APCR round. It boils basically down, in my opinion, to 3 shell types. The first one being the BR350B APHE-BC round with the MD8 fuse. While it has less TNT equivalent than the BR350A with the MD5 fuse, which has 150 grams of TNT equivalent bursting charge, the just under 100 grams of the said BR350B with the MD8 fuse is more than enough if it pens, and it has more pen and still is an APHE-BC round, which has magic abilities versus angled armor, because super special Soviet shells. And then the second shell is the PB350A heat round, because it has 80mm of penetration at every distance and 40 millimeters of penetration versus 60 degrees angles of attack, and with also just under 1 kilogram of TNT equivalent bursting charge, it acts also like a multi-purpose shell. And the third shell type, which is optional, is the BR350P APCR round, but it's not that great versus angled armor, but it has the highest pen of all the said shell types with 125mm, but only against flat armor and only at close distance. But the shell muzzle velocity is really nice with 950 rounds per minute. So you can see I am kind of not really helped here by my team. Planes are harassing me, and I'm really lucky that I'm still alive, and now A gets even captured by the enemy. I think I've done quite well so far. I tried my best, and my team sadly has succumbed to the fight of the enemy. Here there is a big advantage that in the cap there is also even a range finding done for you. So I pre-range find to 500 meters. I see the tracers, but I don't see the tank, so he has to be in a ditch. But there is another tank, a liter tank, and that is another kill. Beautiful. I still observe this location, and another tank emerges, distance the same, and so kill number 9 is inevitable. But I have the feeling that there is a third tank, so I try to lob the shell over that ridge into the ditch, but that doesn't work, so I take a typical Soviet not so hasty retreat, and indeed the first shell got shot in my direction. There I see the muzzle flash. I tried to fire around the building, not quite sure, but I indeed didn't hit anything. I hear some engine noises, and just as the match is about to die, and we lose, yeah, I get my 10th kill. I did everything that I could. I tried to take out as many enemies as I could. I'm definitely not a frontline unit, as I clearly stated. I don't have the armor, nor the mobility, nor the gun handling to take on enemies from multiple directions. And being top of my team, I tried to take out as many opposition as possible so that my team has an easier time at the front line, but sadly that was not enough. So I got this vehicle for a test drive by Gaijin Entertainment, and so the premium civil line modifier is not applied, and still I got just under 39,000 civil lines, nearly 40,000 despite a loss, but half of this was down to the epic awards like Survivor and Heavy Metal Hero. So with the premium, it's in the region of 60,000 and 65, and if it would have been with the full premium modifier and also a win, we might look at roughly 80,000 for a win, and when the premium modifier would be applied. So you still can get good results with this tank, but the tank is not really that desirable. There are better low tier premiums, there are more versatile ones, there are ones that earn you more civil lines, and to be honest, on the marketplace I wouldn't buy it for more than 5 to, at most, if you're a collector and a real Soviet tank lover, 10 Gaijin coins. Everything else is pure speculation. And that's it for me today, so thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope that despite this being a bittersweet defeat, you enjoyed the video and my thinking in the battle, and also the kills, because kills pay bills, right? As usual, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Please give this video a like, give it a subscribe if you want to see more, and we'll see each other on the waves in the skies and on the battlefields of War Thunder.